Hi, girls. Welcome back to the Pink Podcast. And for today's episode, I have Liznette.
I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so happy that she's here. And she's here because she's a teacher. Well, she's not only here because of that. First of all, let me scratch that. She's here because I love her, and that's my beat.
Stop it. Stop flirting with me.
But she's also here because today we want to talk about Montessori.
Montessori.
Oh my God. I can't say Montessori schooling, which is like a different type of like teaching style and stuff for like kids. Wait, do they do it for adults? No, right? This is just like for kids.
This is just basically to like high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've always been interested in that because I've seen it like on TikTok and stuff. That's actually where I learned about it. And then I was like, I feel like I wanted to put my kids in that. And then I learned that she is a teacher for Montessori school. Hello? I couldn't love her anymore. Like, you're perfect.
Stop flirting with me.
And I
can't take it. I can't take it.
Guys, I have this whole page full of questions that I have for her because I need to know. I need to know a bunch of things about the school, how it works, because I want to put my kids in it and my imaginary kids that I don't have, but I need to know from now.
Yeah.
So let's just get into it. Okay. So what is, because some people watching may not know like what Montessori. First of all, I'm going to call it the Monterey School.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's our world.
Monopoly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We could call it Monopoly, actually. I think that's easier.
What's different about... Okay. Because I might need to clip this for like Instagram and TikTok. So let me actually be serious because I can't clip it if I'm calling it Monopoly school.
Exactly. No.
Okay. So what's different about Montessori schooling? Like from like a regular school?
So Montessori school is very hands-on, very interactive, very stimulating for the mind for the kids. And it's also their pace. So as a teacher, I walk in there and it's not that I'm not doing anything, but it's quite literally their world and I'm just guiding them through it. So they walk in, they pick up the lessons that they want to do in that day. I don't have to tell them what to do. And if I only step in if I see them struggling to the point where I actually have to step in.
What?
But other than that, I let them do what they want to do in a day.
First of all, I didn't know this part. Like I didn't look too much into it. Like I just knew I was like, this sounds better than regular school.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they could just go in there and like pick what they wanted.
Because the whole idea is to make them independent from a very young age so that when they do go into the real world, it's kind of like already built into them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what does that look like? Let's unpack that. So they go in and they pick it from what? Like what are they?
So when you walk into a Montessori room, it's very spacious, very airy. There's no desks. There's tables that they can choose to sit on, or they can like pick a rug, put it on the floor, sit wherever they want, or they can even go outside and like decide to work outside that day. And then there's like, there's shelves all around with all of the lessons that they need. And then they just pick one, sit down wherever they want, then they just got to do what they got to do. And then it's my job to make sure that they finish it and that they're doing it right, of course. But then other than that, it's all free will.
So what's like the earliest age that they can start being in like Montessori school?
So my specific school starts at the age of 1.
1?
1. Yeah.
So, but then it's like separated by like age groups?
Yes. So instead of grades, it's by age groups. So it goes 1 to 3, 3 to 6, and so on and so forth.
What's your age group?
So I'm a primary teacher, so I do 3 to 6.
Yeah. So if you have, so I need to unpack all this. So if you have, you have like 20 something kids, right?
I have 23 kids.
23.
Currently. Yeah.
So if you have like, let's say a couple of them that want to go outside and do their work outside and someone, like how are you?
My assistant. I'll just be like, you know what? They want to do, specifically, I kind of use that time for art. Just because I feel like it's like a nicer environment for them to do art outside.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, hey, my assistant, can you come outside with them and like sit with them and make sure that they're okay?
Yeah.
And then I just kind of let them do whatever they want. Because including the art, I'm not supposed to touch anything. It's just whatever they want to do.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, so how are they learning like math? So like in science or whatever, like what are they still learning like the same topics?
Yeah. So basically the main focus in Montessori is teaching concrete instead of abstract. And so like what I mean by that is like the number 5. We're not showing them the symbol, we're showing them the quantity. So instead of doing math by just numbers, it's like, no, take 5 objects, add 3 objects to it. How many do you have? Yeah. And then same thing with skip counting, that kind of leads into multiplication. There's like beads, it's like every 5 beads they have to count, every 10 beads, and so on and so forth. And then that kind of just goes into multiplication and also division. So it's more of a hands-on stimulating education.
Yeah. So how does like, if if they want to pick up like a math thing, like
Mhm.
how does that look like? How are they teaching themselves math?
So I do give the lesson or like initially. So like
Mm.
if they don't know the lesson, I have to introduce them to the lesson, kind of like feel it out the first time around that they do it, correct them with like within this like the second, third time, and then they just kind of pick it up and it's like from there, the way that children absorb is repetition. So the more they do that lesson, the better because the more they retain the information from the lesson.
Right. So are they doing it like in a schedule? Because you're saying they all get to go in and pick what they want.
Mhm.
So is it like two of them were learning math that day and the other three are doing this and that? Like, is it just like kind of like that where everybody's picking what they want?
So another thing about Montessori is that it's very personalized to the kid.
Mm.
So every kid in that school is at a different level, even if they're in the same age group or
Okay.
in like the same classroom.
Yeah.
Every kid is at a different level. And basically, me as a teacher, I just have to make sure that they're rotating the lessons.
Okay.
Like, okay, you know what? You did this lesson like 3 times this week. Maybe let's try another one.
Okay.
But the way that I have to present it as their teacher is their option.
I see.
But they kind of just do whatever. They just walk in, do what they got to do, and then they're out.
So is there any like traditional stuff like quizzing or
No.
tests or nothing?
No. So we don't believe in tests or anything like that because it's kind of like it puts a kid in a category. And we
Yeah.
don't want that. So, and we also don't want to teach them kind of like how to judge themselves. We want them to be confident in what they're doing and we don't want to give them anxiety because the whole entire thing of Montessori is them enjoying what they're doing.
Yeah.
Having like a natural love for learning. And then all of that just kind of adds pressure. Where it's
Yeah.
like instead of doing a spelling quiz, there's a large movable. So it's like A through Z and it's like literally like block letters. I'll give them a picture and they just have to spell it out next to it. If I
Mm.
can see that they're doing that, why quiz them and put that pressure on them
Yeah.
to like get a good score if I know that they can do it in an ordinary environment. So no quizzes, no homework,
no
no
homework?
textbooks, no. And that's where it's very different with public schools because with public school it's kind of like okay, here's your homework, here's a lecture, you either got it or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to get tutoring and stuff like that where it's like if a child is behind, that's okay for me because I have the time within those 3 years that I have them to get them to where they have to be.
Yeah.
And then there's like key stuff that I need to make sure, key lessons that I need to make sure that they know
Mm-hmm.
before they go on to the next step, but all within their own time without that pressure. And if they're left behind, that's okay. Some kids learn faster, some kids learn, slower.
Yeah.
And what's good about the environment of being ages like a 3-year age gap is that the little ones want to be like the big ones.
Oh.
So they see the big ones doing all of these like exciting new lessons and they're like, you know what? I want to do that. And so part of the reason why I love Montessori is because we truly believe that the kid is capable of doing anything that they set their minds to.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not going to restrain you just because you're younger.
Yeah.
If you want to do it, I'm going to teach it to you. If you retain it, perfect. You don't have to, but if you do, let's just keep going forward.
Yeah. And when you say like like Montessori, like I was asking you this earlier. Well, I was telling you that I had looked it up last night, that it's like it's somebody's last name. And you were telling me, what was her name?
Maria Montessori. So she was an Italian doctor and she believed in basically not putting kids into certain categories or like limiting them.
Yeah.
And so she made up like this school where it's like, no age groups, no grades and everything like that. And then that's how it kind of like just started kicking off.
Yeah, that makes sense. So then how do you know if like that kid is like ready to basically move on to, well, I guess you guys do it by age, so it's not even like a level thing, but
I mean, I had a kid just this year, 5-year-old. She was so good at everything just because she was a faster learner that I was able to pass her on to lower elementary this year.
like basically skipping
mid-year. I was like, you know what? Like, you really got this. And then it's so crazy. She got there and within the month, she's 5 doing law and division. And it's because it's, again, every kid is so different in how they retain.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if they can, then why not?
Right.
Why limit them to what their age is supposed to know?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Because
So,
if she's naturally better, let's say like at math and not
mhm.
so good at science, it doesn't matter. Like she can excel in math and be okay at science, and
And
then
that's
just
okay.
be a
Because
mathematician
as
if
a
she wanted to
teacher,
be.
it's our duty to know them personally on a level like where it's like, okay, I know where you're lacking in. I know what I have to focus more on. I know what I have to do more activities on and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that to get you to that point.
Yeah, I didn't know that that was like the structure. I didn't know that it had no like structure in a sense. Like I thought I knew like a very. Oh my god, I'm making a lot of noise. Sorry, guys. I knew that it was like a lot more fluid than regular school and like a lot more, like
Mhm.
hands on and not so like strict. I didn't know there was no like quizzing
Yeah.
or like, okay, did you pass to the next grade or anything like that?
Because us as teachers, we have to keep like kind of like a checklist where it's like we are monitoring them without them knowing that we are. So I have a checklist. Okay, this kid knows this already. This kid knows this. Da da da. And then they have to kind of like fill that up. When they're done, okay, you can go on to the next.
Mm,
But without them knowing, because we don't want that pressure on them,
yeah.
because that's what makes them start hating school. Oh, I don't suck. I suck at this. I can't do this. Like, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
We'll get you there. It's our job, not your job. Because at the end of the day, they are the kids,
Yeah.
you know? But I mean, it's really cool because I don't know if you want to get into like the different um categories. So like toddlers, primary.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's cool because we install it from them since one.
Mm,
So 1 year olds to 3 year olds, we have different goals in every I don't know. I don't want to say grades because not grade, but every grade, every
yeah.
age group, we have certain expectations. So 1, 2, 3, our expectations from them is for them to use the bathroom by themselves and to be able to feed themselves on their own.
Okay.
Once they can do that, they can go to primary.
Okay.
Then from primary, I want to say my 3 year olds, I really want to focus on their pincer grip, which is what
Mm,
you like write with. So we actually incorporate that into certain like lessons. So there's spooning, where it's like two
mm,
bowls. They're just like learning how to like, and that also kind of teaches them how to like eat
right.
on their own. Then there's tongs and stuff like that. There's chopsticks that helps like, with the writing and stuff like that. Then they move on to writing. With the writing, it's like learning the letter sounds
Mm-hmm.
at the same time as learning the actual formation of the letter. And then while they're learning their letter sounds, then that goes into like reading, sounding out, and stuff like that. And
Mm,
then we have practical life as well, which I think is the coolest thing ever. So we have a practical life shelf where it teaches them how to fold, how to wash dishes, how to cut their own fruits, how to like basically how to be little independent humans on
yeah.
their own.
How cute. Like how parents have like those like little kitchens at the house and like
Hmm.
kind of let them practice.
Because when we start treating them not like adults but like little humans, I would
Mm-hmm.
say, like, once we start giving them those responsibilities, they start to pick it up on their own.
Yeah.
Like, you know what, like I can do this.
Yeah.
It builds a confidence within themselves that kind of also translates into like the educational portion, where it's like, you know what, I can do this.
Yeah.
I can pick up math, I can pick up division, I can pick up multiplication, because they're already so secure within themselves as a person
Yeah.
to be able to do what they need to do for themselves.
That's amazing. So what's in like that other like in the little at home, what do you call it? It was like the life.
The practical
Yeah,
life.
practical.
Okay, so practical life, then there's spooning, there's like how to like, I don't know how to say it in English, like lo majadores, where it's like you do like the little ajos and everything, like the
Oh yeah, I don't know how to say that. I like where you like
it has
grind
like
your
yeah.
garlic. I don't know how
So
to.
they'll do that. They'll do I'm trying to like look through my shelf right now. So we have the spooning, we have we're like pouring lessons.
Mhm.
So they're learning how to pour themselves water, how to like stuff like that. Um Spooning, I keep going back to spooning because
A big one.
that's the biggest one, because the whole entire idea of practical life is kind of like tricking them into lessons where
Okay.
they think that they're playing,
Yeah.
but they're not. Another one is like, for example, we could put like a couple water bottles. different shapes, different sizes with different caps. And they have to learn how to unscrew it and screw it back on themselves.
Oh.
So they're actually using their pincer grip,
Yeah.
but they're learning how to be able to open up their water bottles on their own.
Right.
Because then from there, with the pouring lessons, they never ask me to help them with water because they know how to open up their water bottles. And then we have the water there provided for them. And then they're the ones that refill their own water bottles. So it's like less on me.
Yeah.
And it's like they're just honestly just taking care of themselves.
Right.
And then what's another one? Ooh, the placemats. So they actually have to learn where to put the plate, the knife, the spoon, the fork.
How cute.
And so like that translates into lunch. So I have to look, are you putting it where you're supposed to put it?
Right.
And then that kind of just goes into like everyday life, making sure that they're educated on where is it that things go, how things are supposed to be and stuff like that. Teaches them manners and respect towards their actual like, you know, their items. So that's another big thing is they have to respect the environment. That's a really big thing. Respecting your environment to then respect your own. Like, you know, like you don't want them to have toys and destroy them or start buying things for themselves and, you know, not know how to handle them. And so then we teach them those like core values within the lessons as well.
Aww.
It's
okay,
really cute.
so if let's say Johnny and Jessica are over here doing math and somebody else is doing the water thing and how are you, because you're one person and there's 23 little ones.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a very overstimulating job. It's very overstimulating, but it's not as hard as you think because in reality, as the Montessori teacher there, your goal is you walk around making sure everything is where it's supposed to be, that they're doing the lessons right. But they are so smart. They pick up these lessons so fast that it's like there's room for error, but not so much. Yeah. And then from there, it's like I'm just grading throughout the day, but they don't come to you at the same time.
So you're like going around like grading quietly in your paper, like, okay, they're doing this good at that. And you're just like keeping like. And
then like they come up to me like, hey, can you like check my math? Or I'll check it real quick, give it back to them. They'll fix what they have to fix. While they're fixing it, I'm with the next student. Okay, what are you doing? What does your paper look like? We try not to do so much paper because we don't really believe in like paperwork, but it's nice to do, you know, some activities here and there. That way that the parents know what they're working on as well. Yeah. And it kind of supplements the lesson as well. Yeah. But when it comes to like paper worksheets, we don't do them too much as in like a traditional school where it's like all worksheets, all this, all that. We just want to make sure that if they can figure out what it is that they're actually doing with the objects and they have that mastered, then they have the subject mastered as well. Right. So we don't necessarily need it on paper. I see. Paper would be more like to keep them entertained almost. And that gives me time to walk around and just,
What do you do with like a topic like English when they have to like learn how to build a paragraph or an essay, or it's just not like a part of that schooling, like learning how to create essays and stuff like that?
So they do a lot of things with colors because we're a very like sensorial school. So color plays a lot in, you know, like building things together. So for a word, the vowels are, the consonants might be red and the vowels might be blue. Okay. So that they can do like the differentiate, you know, between. And then we kind of do the same with sentence structures. So while the verb might be some color, the noun might be this color. And it's like, okay, so where does this go in a sentence? Grammar-wise, what's wrong? Yeah. And then we do a lot, does this sound right? Does it sound right? Okay. What can we fix? Like that. And so that's how they start learning structure and everything like that. With like periods, question marks, and everything like that. That's also, does it sound right? Does it sound like a question or does it sound like a statement? So it's just more like we give them like, what is it? Yeah. And then we don't want to give them the answer. We want them to work for it. Right. Okay, but what is this? Does this go with that? Together, does this sound right? Yeah. Together, does this go well? Are you saying what you want to say with what you're writing down? And then there's creative writing where they have a notebook and they just write. Then I grade it okay, this is where you went wrong, but I love what you wrote.
Okay.
See?
Yeah,
And
I
then
see.
they start picking up, like, okay, don't do this. Don't do
Mhm.
that. This doesn't go together.
When they have to write something like that, it's like they have to write it on a specific topic or something like that, or they could just get to
Anything.
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 Oh.
Because it's all about them having the freedom to explore
Mm-hmm.
the lessons.
Do the older kids, like the 8th graders, because I know you said it goes up to 8th grade,
Mm-hmm.
do they have to learn how to build an essay? Because I know, like you said, then they have to go to regular school, which we'll
Mm-hmm.
get into that also, like that transition maybe. But if an 8th grader has to learn how to like do an essay for when he goes to like a regular high school, do they know at that point like how that works, or like how to do research for an essay on like a
Yeah.
specific topic, like how to kind of like boil down? Because whether or not like the traditional school is functional or not,
Mm-hmm.
they're still gonna actually have to do
Unfortunately,
it
yeah.
when they go to if they go from like their 8th grade to a regular school. Maybe they'd be homeschooled or something.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're just gonna go to a regular school after that, they kind of have to learn how to
Yeah.
research and stay on a topic and do an essay. So do they learn how to do stuff like that in a Montessori school?
Yeah.
Oh.
So basically, those comes with structure. It's all about examples.
Hmm.
So what they're reading, like, you know, that teacher might assign a book that
Mhm.
might be a research paper, a book that might be fiction, nonfiction, and then they have to study the structure. Unfortunately, my school only goes to 8th grade. I don't know of any high school in Florida. It might be a little far away, maybe.
Mhm.
That is Montessori. I know that they do exist, but like in our area specifically, there is none. So what we do in our school is we kind of prepare them for that transition. So towards like the higher group or the older group, we start to do workbooks, worksheets, homework,
Okay.
just so that that transition for them to go to high school won't be
Mhm.
as hard on them.
I see.
We still keep the Montessori values, but then it's like we also have to face reality. They're not
Yeah.
going to be in a Montessori setting forever.
Right.
So we start to incorporate some of like that public school type of learning,
Yeah.
but still their own pace. Because if a kid is not ready to go to high school, that's okay. I mean, we want them to be within their age group,
Mhm.
but if they need a little help, we provide that for them.
Yeah.
Personalized. So it targets exactly what they need to master before
Mhm.
moving on to the next.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that, like, first of all, that it doesn't go up to 12 like that. I guess it makes sense like why they would do it more for little kids, but
Mhm.
that must be a really tough transition to go
Believe it or
from
not,
that.
it honestly depends on the kid.
Mm.
But I've had certain kids go to high school and they tell me like that they love it.
Really?
But if you think about it, it's because of their age group.
Right. They want to
They're
be
excited.
social and
They're
yeah.
excited to socialize. They're excited to like be normal. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that excites
Right.
them.
Aw.
And then it gives them that like confidence boost to do what they have to do.
Yeah.
So it can be a tough transition. I would say mostly on the social side for them.
Yeah.
Academically, usually they leave a little bit more advanced just because, again, it is concrete. So it's easier for them to pick up something being taught to them abstract
Yeah.
because they already know the concrete the concrete portion
Yeah.
of like everything else.
That makes sense.
So it makes the connections even stronger.
Yeah. Is there a lot of like outside time? Because that's actually one of my personal like worries with sending my future kids to like school is like I feel like outside time is so important and like
Mm-hmm.
being with like animals and goats and just being a
Yeah.
kid and being on the ground and getting dirty.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, even though it's a Montessori school, it still follows like a regular school schedule. Like what you said, what's like the time there? It's like you said 9 to 4:30 or something.
So my class starts. I'm there 8:30. The kids get there from 8:30 to like 9:15.
Mhm.
So I would say 9:15 to 3 is your
Oh,
schedule.
okay, to 3.
Yeah.
And then you
Then
have to
after
stay
that
a little
is
after.
aftercare.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So from their time, I want to say they have 30 minutes of outside time where it's just like recess. But throughout the day, if they want to do a lesson outside, I can't say no to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like we have a gazebo. They'll sit there, kind of like let everybody else play while they're focusing on their own stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But and then we do a lot of like nature things. So we teach them the life cycles, but also through plant, the life cycle of a plant and stuff like that. It's really cute. In the beginning of the year, they bring their own plant and they have to take care of it throughout the year.
Oh,
So they have to be consistent with the watering and making sure that the plant looks okay and stuff like that. And then we have the birds in our classroom where they have to like make sure that they're being gentle with them and like, do they have food? They let me know right away. Hey, they need food like now. And that's good because it's teaching them responsibility and also like teaching them about animals as well.
That's really cute.
Yeah.
But then like the Reese's, like they all Reese's. I'm hungry. The recess, they all go outside. But then like what you're saying, if they want to go outside, they can just go. And what happens if they just randomly want to play and it's still like school time? Does that happen often or not really?
I mean, kids are kids. They want to play all the time. And this is where I have to be like the little strict teacher. No, it's work time.
Yeah.
But Maria Montessori says, she uses this word normalize. And it's not that your kid isn't normal, but they're getting accustomed to the normal schedule. And it's crazy how important schedules are for kids because they're on top of it.
Yeah.
Hey, Miss Guzman, when's snack time? Is it outside time yet? So I literally put a schedule next to my clock.
Yeah.
I even drew the little clocks next to it so that like if they're not there yet with the time, at least they can do it with like the shapes and everything like that. And they'll tell me, hey, it's snack time. You have to open the snack table.
Oh.
Hey, it's outside time. You have to put on the song because I have a cleanup song too.
Oh, how cute.
And so what Maria Montessori says is like to normalize a kid, it takes them, I think it's 4 weeks.
Okay.
And then after that, they're used to the cycles. And I kid you not, if I break the cycle, for example, I just had the art festival, so I'd put on a movie for them because it's like, I need you to sit down so I can finish this for your parents, right? No. Miss Guzman, I want to work now.
Are you serious?
Are we going to do lessons now? Can we do our lessons, please? And I'm like, what? God. Like you'd rather do lessons than just like watch a movie? Like I just put on Disney for you. Like what?
That is actually that's a great segue. How is like the technology in that classroom?
So technology, we barely use technology.
Okay.
Barely, like literally the only time I incorporate technology is when I'm teaching them typing.
Okay.
Other than that, Fridays is movie days. And then we had the exception of the fact that we had the art festival coming up. But other than that, it's for music. Because then we do like smooth jazz in the background throughout the day to keep them like noise level down.
Do you guys accept 25-year-olds?
Honestly, sometimes I just be vibing in my own classroom.
Oh, wow.
It's a very welcoming like ambiance for them because we want them to feel like they're home.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, no. Technology personally in my mind, it just does more harm than good.
Right. We were talking about this earlier because I was saying I wouldn't want my kids to have like
iPads.
Well, I said it fast, but like no iPads.
iPads are horrible. Oh my God. I hate iPads.
You have 23 kids. Do you have some that you feel like are iPad kids at home?
You can tell. Because unfortunately all iPads do is give, attention deficit disorders and stuff like that. It doesn't help at all. Unless you're like strictly being educational with it, and even then it's still like the colors, how fast it is, like the reward system. And it's honestly how quick they're just easy to sit and just focus on that and lock into that. But you don't want them to like lock into that. You want them to lock into what they're actually doing in the real world. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because they get too comfortable in that position, that state, that then it's like they are naturally so full of energy that where does that energy go? That's why you take the iPad away, it's a tantrum. And that's them letting out the energy that you didn't let them let out when they were on that technology, like that little.
Right. Of course.
So I hate them. Not in my class.
Oh my God. But you have some kids that are iPad kids.
And
is it way more challenging to like for them? Like is the learning process harder for them from what you can observe than kids that are iPad kids?
For sure. Because again, the attention disorders. Then it's like they can't stay still. They can't finish their lessons. Oh. They can't. It's just too much. So like I have a kid where it's like the rugs, you're only supposed to have one out at a time. Unless your lesson requires two, there should not be more than one rug out that has your name on it.
Okay.
On there, one lesson. Because we want them to focus on what they're doing. But then I'll have a kid that is just 3 rugs, 2 lessons. Why is this rug out here with no lesson on it? Who's using it? Why is it out? Because then I had to teach them how to put away stuff on their own as well. Because they have to be taught organization. The more organized a kid is, the better they're going to be at like life. So we try to teach that as well. And then it's like, why do you have 2 lessons if you're not done with this? Why do you have 2 lessons?
Yeah.
You're only one person. And you start seeing that, and I can tell automatically what type of structure they have at home.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
Oh my God. Do you have more iPad kids in now, or you have more?
Luckily, this year I don't have that many, but their personalities are still just as strong. The personalities they're so great. I love them so much. But the energy,
Yeah.
But it's better than an iPad kid.
Yeah,
I'd rather have just a naturally energetic kid than like a kid that is just like they don't get to have their energy out because of that. And you can tell for sure.
I would have thought that like parents that would have wanted to put their kids in a Montessori school wouldn't have been the same type of parents that would give them an iPad at home. I feel like those two in your head don't, they don't go.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no, that's not that type of parent.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy to think about that.
Well, if you think of the demographic, Montessori isn't necessarily like as accessible. So you're talking about, rich parents,
Wait, while we're on that topic, how much does it cost for like a child to go to a Montessori? Well, specifically to your school. I'm sure every school is different, but
my school starts off minimum $1,300 and it goes up to $1,600 a month.
Month?
That's tuition. My kid specifically with the primary group is $1,500 a month.
Girl, I'm about to start a Montessori school downstairs.
Yeah.
Who wants to bring their babies over? I'll watch them over. You know what? Give me $900 a month. I got you. I'll watch them downstairs. I'll put them to bake. It's
crazy money, but
I'll send them home with food for you.
And that's another thing. We don't offer food. Food comes from home.
All the snacks?
Snacks. We have community snacks every day.
Community snacks? Who's providing the community snacks?
The parents.
The parents?
Yeah. The parents, they have like a turn. So like it'll be like one day this kid, the next day this kid, da da da.
Oh, like so each day, so like today's like Johnny's turn to bring snacks for everybody?
Exactly. For the class.
Ooh la la.
Yeah.
Wait, you said how much a month? $1,300?
That's for like the little kids. For my class specifically, it's $1,500 because they're primary, so they're older.
We're gonna do some quick math on this pod.
Okay, there's 10 months in a school year, so it's literally $15K. Or yeah, $15K a year.
But we're talking about per month, per year classroom. She's making whoever owns the school.
I wish it was me, girl.
Somebody's making from just her classroom $34,500 a month. That's one classroom times 12 months. That's $400,000. One classroom. How many classrooms are there?
I want to say.
That's a lot of fingers.
I want to say like a solid 10 classes.
10 No, there's no way she's making. Who's making $4 million?
My boss.
$4 million.
It's a smart business.
$4 million.
It's a smart business.
$4 million.
It's very smart. But then, I mean, to put it in perspective, taxes, how they like file everything and like.
Girl, $4 million.
That's a lot. Then, depending on the school, there's scholarships. So my school specifically takes a scholarship where it's like they'll give you this amount of money. So then you deduct that from like the overall year, and then you divide whatever left within the months of that year. Okay. So it might come out to like, depending, I've seen it come out to like $700 a month.
Girl, that is a car payment.
Yeah. So, and that's what I'm saying, demographic, right?
Right.
So there's like the rich people. But then it's like they work these insane jobs.
Right.
They just don't have the time, which is not an excuse, but it's like, to put yourself in like their shoes.
Yeah.
They just don't, and it's so unfortunate, they just don't have time for their kids.
God.
you know? And so the easiest thing, because when you don't know your kid, you don't know how to satisfy them without technology.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, hey, Johnny, here's an iPad.
Girl, they better hire me as a sitter after school.
I'm telling you.
I'll keep your kid entertained.
I'm telling you.
You're talking about $1,500 a month for your kid? Girl.
Yeah.
I'm giving them the iPad, stay at home all day. No kidding. Oh my gosh.
It's a lot.
I didn't know it was that much.
And I wish it would be more accessible because...
I thought you were going to say I wish it was more money.
And then, girl, that's enough as it is. That's literally rent.
That's literally rent.
That's literally rent.
For a 2-bedroom.
And then think about it. They give them a little discount if it's like siblings. But you're still... Like, it's a lot. Because then there's siblings at the school.
Holy moly.
There was like last year I had a child where it was like in total out of all of their siblings, because that would have been crazy. She has 8, but then it was like 3 in that school. So imagine those payments times 3.
Where were the other 3?
So one of them was still primary, and then the other one was like older. So I'm thinking,
imagine just like flipping a coin.
It was
who gets to go to the fancy school,
and then 1,700. I would have to look at the pricing breakdown again. But
pricing breakdown.
Yeah. But then you have like stuff where it's like you don't have to buy supplies.
Liznette, shut up. Liznette, there is no school year where a parent is buying $1,500 worth of school supplies.
Yeah.
Probably in the lifetime of that kid.
Yeah.
There's no parent spending $1,500 from grade kindergarten to like 12.
I know.
Going to public school. No parent spending $1,500 on crayons and notebooks.
And that's why, how do I put this? I don't agree with the pricing. I don't, because, you know, education should be free.
Mm-hmm.
All types for me. But then it's like, if you had to put a price, like, yeah, Montessori gives you more than, let's say, a regular private school. Because if you think about it, a regular private school might be like the same educational system as public school, but they're just private.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like fancy.
Where it's like, yeah, we're private, but we offer something different.
For sure. I mean, of course, if
not
you can afford
not justifying.
Yeah.
And that's why we had to be millionaires to put our kids in these types of schooling, because unfortunately it is the best, in my opinion, the best way to learn.
That is crazy.
But there are certain things that you guys can do at home. I think we were talking about that too.
Yeah. So like, what are things like, let's say you don't got $1,500 to spare to throw your little 5-year-old booger into a $1,500. For $1,500, they better sleep over at that school.
It's crazy.
Okay, so if you can't do that, what are like things that people can do at home?
So there's kid-friendly kitchenware. You know, have your child cut up fruits next to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's teaching them, again, how to handle certain things, helps with the pincer grip, and also teaches them independence when it comes to like, you know what? I even saw this girl before I started working there. She had like a little mini fridge and like little mini kitchen
on
for
TikTok.
Her. Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly.
And it was
she had like 2 boys.
I think so. And one was like older.
Yes.
So it's like the kid can literally go to his own fridge and cut up his own fruits whenever he's hungry.
Right.
There's no mom, I want a snack. No, just go get it.
Right.
Builds the independence, right? And then there's like the large movable. You can get that anywhere. On Amazon, whatever. Like, and that's just, you know, them building the words, you know, learning the letter sounds and stuff like that. There's also objects, you know, it's really easy, honestly, to replicate these lessons. It's just kind of like finding, it doesn't even have to be the exact same objects. Like sometimes we even we love to recycle in my class. So if I have 10 erasers of the same, we're gonna use it for a lesson. Yeah. What's 5 plus 5? What's 3 plus 7? And you get to do that with the erasers. You know what I mean? Yeah. So any objects that you have at home is a lesson, to be honest. Like, yeah. A candle. I wouldn't put a candle next to a kid, but hey, she's a lesson could be,
let's light them. How many fires did we start?
Exactly. No, but for real. And like strawberries, while you guys are doing, you know, while you guys are cutting, how many pieces? That's fractions. How many pieces did I cut the strawberry into?
Okay, now
you see,
everybody take
very
notes.
Easy. It's very easy, and it's very beneficial for the child, because then it's like you guys are doing activities together that keeps them engaged, but you're also learning while you go.
Yeah, For sure. It's like just doing turning everyday life into a lesson, essentially.
Exactly.
Which
and
makes so much sense.
Teaching independence, because, I've seen so many moms want to do everything for their child, and that's where you're stunting their growth.
For sure.
You have to let the kid try it out, obviously within limits. I'm not going to let a kid just do whatever they want with a knife. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's like, you want to learn? I'm going to teach you one time. I'm going to keep an eye on you. Let's do it together, and then you can start doing it on your own.
Yeah.
But you have to let them do it on their own.
Yeah.
Because, with the independence comes a confidence to keep doing their studies.
Yeah.
But
oof. Do you think there's any cons to a Montessori school?
I guess I would say a con would be that it's so small.
Okay.
Because then it gives them a chance to socialize, but think about it, they're in the same class for 3 years. The only new kids would be like the ones transitioning from toddler to primary, or like just newly enrolled in the class. But those are the people that they're stuck with for like till the end. You know what I mean?
Which in a way is kind of beautiful, because you're making like lifelong friends.
It's beautiful.
It's only not practical when they have to go to the regular school.
Exactly.
So
but then to translate that, right? You get comfortable with certain people, but what if you're dealt with a different person in the outside world that you're not used to? How do you manage that?
That's true.
Because you have to think about throwing that kid into life.
Yeah.
How can they handle it? How will they handle it?
I guess it is, beneficial to put them maybe like that combination, like after 8th grade. I don't know though. I don't know if I'd want my sweet little
I know. You think
pumpkin.
like, oh, it's going to ruin them. It's going to ruin them. But okay, so another little lesson in our class is a peace table. So if there's anything, oh, Johnny hit Becky. Okay, go to the peace table, talk about it. Then they have a little flower, whatever object, mine's are flowers. You have to like pass the flower to talk. You have to tell each other, how did him hitting you make you feel? It hurt. Let him know that it hurt. Then he has to take that in, start considering, oh my gosh, like this is what my actions did. They have to resolve it. And then from there, obviously, if it keeps happening, then I get involved, right?
I need to give them my own peace table at home.
It's to give them the opportunity to try to fix it within themselves.
Yeah.
So that when they go to certain places, and there's conflict, okay, how do we handle this as adults when they are adults? You know what I mean? Or how do we handle this the healthy way? Let's talk about it. That'll be their first reaction because they're so used to talking about it.
Right.
Builds communication skills and stuff like that they'll be like, okay, you know what? I don't want to fight. Let's talk about how that made me feel. You can say how that made you feel. And then we'll say sorry at the end.
I need a couple lessons at this school. I need to go in and sit at the peace table.
You don't understand how hard it's been, though. It's been a hard transition on me, too. As a Dominican woman, like, we don't yell. There's no raising your voice there.
Wow.
Your voice has to
listen to that? Like, do they follow?
You would be surprised. Because, I slip up sometimes, but they listen more when you don't yell. Because the way my boss taught me is, if somebody's telling you, hey, do this, I need you to go do this, are you going to want to do it? Whether I'm like, hey, like, can we please do this? And like, this will come out of it,
Yeah.
Then because they're kids, they're sensitive. So they respond actually better when you don't yell. Believe it or not. I find that so hard to believe, but my class is to prove that.
Makes sense. It's like how you just explained it to me. Like nobody wants to listen to like a rude
I guess
person.
It's just hard for me to believe because it's like what we grew up in.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. But I know that you're right because I never wanted to listen when people were yelling at me.
Exactly.
So that makes sense. Like based on how we grew up, I'm like, I don't want to listen to that. I'd rather somebody tell me like gently and calmly, like,
because the whole day it's just conversations with these kids. You know what I mean? And you want to keep it a conversation.
Yeah.
You don't want to teach them how to, raise their voice or be hostile or rude or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it's hard. They be testing my patience. But
it's 23 versus 1. That's anybody
and they
would
win
feel
every
tested.
day. They win every day.
Well, okay. I also wanted to ask you this before I forget because I know you were saying we're talking about summer school where we're talking off camera. So you guys don't have like a summer break like a regular school?
So we do. But it's optional.
Oh.
So summer is optional for them. They can either pay those 2 months, the same tuition.
Oh.
Right? And it acts like daycare, but then there's VPK, and then there's like teachers like me where it's like if I'm working there and my children are there, we're gonna do a little bit of lessons, but I'm gonna still let you have your fun.
What's VPK?
VPK, I don't know how to explain it to you other than it's like it's just like additional learning.
Okay. Because it's like extra apart from like the year curriculum.
Exactly.
Okay.
But it's still, it's like, it's just added learning. We do it mainly during like summer for like the kids but it's extra. VPK is extra.
It's extra money on top of the extra summer.
VPK is extra.
What's up with VPK? Like what is it?
Because
Just
it's
extra
just
lessons?
It's literally the same lessons, but it's continued.
So the regular summer school is basically just
Tuition.
babysitting.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want summer school with schooling, that's VPK.
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. This podcasting business is dead. Like, I'm about to start a Montessori school.
You would be so surprised with the amount of money that they make.
Baby, like, I'm asking for
let's
funding.
open one up.
Let's open one up tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Actually, yesterday, because I need that money yesterday.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Because, like, it can't cost that much to, like, start a school. Like, what do you need?
I mean, my school is it's not a big school. It's, you know, the location is nice and everything. Location.
If we're doing it in Lake Nona.
We have to.
We're doing it in Lake Nona.
And this is what I'm saying. Like, these parents, they don't play. Like, they be at work.
Right.
And then going back to the topic, iPad.
Shit.
Yeah. I have a student where it's like both of her parents are doctors.
Oof.
They're great with her.
Yeah.
They love her, but they genuinely do not have the time. So that's where I come in and I do like some supplemental work after school or something like that, you know? But like I can, you know, and this is where like sympathy has to come in where it's like, this is their first time being parents sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't really judge them, but it's like, you could do better.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to the technology, I mean.
Yeah, for sure. Is it those same type of parents that like pick their kids up or they have someone come pick them up? Like, are they just really busy all the time?
This is crazy, but there's certain kids where it's like their parents will actually be housewives, but because they can't deal with basically unteaching them those like bad habits, they leave them there for the whole entire day until aftercare ends.
What time does aftercare end?
5:30.
5:30? You said till 5:30?
I don't stay there until 5:30 because then I would go nuts.
Yeah.
I would go nuts.
But you stay there
I
little
still
after.
enter at 4:30, so I give them like an hour of my time during aftercare.
And what happens during aftercare? Is it like a YMCA, just like chill, LOL, fun time?
Yeah, it's just fun time for them.
Okay.
But
sheesh.
Yeah. I like to take that time though. Like if I have time, I'm going to take that time to continue, you know, with my kids. Cause like, I don't want to, it sounds so bad. I feel like I sound like the worst teacher ever, but I don't want them to go and have fun. I want them to continue learning.
She says, sit down.
Because there's so much to do in a day and it's like not enough time in a day. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like being a Montessori teacher like made you a better adult?
100%.
Really?
It gave me the love that I really needed in my life, first of all. But then it gave me the knowledge of what it is to be, in a sense, kind of like a parent. Just because you get to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in a sense, live it because I'm with them every day for 8 hours, you know? Now I know for sure that I want kids.
Yeah.
Some days I don't, but like I know for sure I do. But now I know like if I were to become a parent, let's say tomorrow, I know what to do with the child.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm very thankful for my job for that because it's not easy. You know, children are very complicated. But I feel like everything I learned from this job just kind of uncomplicates it a little bit more for me.
Yeah.
So I've learned a lot from this job.
Yeah.
I've even like learned patience just for myself from this job. Empathy. Oh my gosh. Because like kids are so full of emotions, you can't help but be full of emotions with them. Yeah. And then you get to like kind of translate that into real life as well.
Yeah. As you're teaching them, you're like teaching yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. They're teaching me things that I didn't even know too. you know? Even TikTok trends.
Wait, speaking about that, remember we were making a joke about like the lingo? What is like this little kid lingo? Because they be saying the
Okay.
craziest things.
So listen here. You know that one trend on TikTok was like, just give me my money.
Oh my God.
I didn't know that until, I kid you not, my 5-year-old student came up to me. It's like, Miss Guzman, just give me my money. And I was like, what the heck? So then I called my sister and I was like, oh my gosh, this kid just said that. She was like, no way, Liznette. That's literally on TikTok. What are they teaching this kids at home?
Oh my gosh.
And you'd be so surprised. They're like literally 5 and they know more than I do of social media and TikTok world.
I believe it. What other lingo do they say? Like weird little kid lingo?
Okay, it's actually really funny because there's lingo that we say on a regular that they find weird.
Like what?
So if I say bro, Miss Guzman just called me bro. Like, they're so funny with it. Or it's like, if one kid says, what the? Miss Guzman, he just said, what the? Like,
what?
Like, language with them is so funny because, like, sometimes you just say something regular and they'll be like, and I'm like, no, like, what do you mean? Or they'll say something and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just said that. Like, they're hilarious.
Now we're the old ones. Like, they think we're freaking old.
It's so funny because I tell them I'm 100 years old. I tell them I'm 100 and I pretend my back hurts all the time. And then
You're
like,
so
no, Miss
funny.
Guzman, you're young. They tell me that I'm a teenager. And I'm like, no, I'm not.
You eat it up. You're like,
I'm just like,
you guys think I'm young?
I love it, but like, no, I'm not. And like, there's times where they see me like a big sister and I honestly love it.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it just bites me in the butt.
Because
like,
you look young. If I was them, I'd be like, shush, you look just like my older sister. Like, don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Because you're used to teachers being a little like teacher looking.
But that's where I'm like, don't mess with me because I'm a strict teacher.
Ooh.
I'm the teacher you don't play with.
Oh.
I'm the teacher where it's like, oh, I'm going to get Miss Guzman and they straighten up.
Shit.
I have to, because if
scared.
not, they'll run all over you.
Right.
Kids are smart as, they're so smart. And people put it past them. But they know. And they test you. And they like try to figure out what they can get away, what they can't. It's like you give them a finger, they want the arm. Kids are smart.
Sheesh.
And they know how to play you.
I might need to like be a teacher before I'm a parent so I can like practice.
You know, I don't think, if it wasn't for this job, I wouldn't be able to be a mom.
Really?
Just because I feel like I would be so unprepared.
Yeah.
But you know what? There's parents where it's like they weren't ready. They have the kids and a mother's instinct kicks in.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's like, if you really wanted to be a good parent, you will be. You know what I mean? Because then there's so much out. Like, I get a lot of my lessons from Pinterest.
Oh,
you know what I mean? There's so much out there that you
Yeah.
can do with your technology to be a better parent. To like, hey, what can I do to like keep this kid,
Yeah.
Get them butterflies. Let them watch them hatch. Get them a plant. Let them water it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get them a pet. I know. But like pets actually help out a lot. Like even just a small animal. I have a child. She comes up to me. She's like, oh, I have chickens. And it's her responsibility to take care of her chickens at home.
How cute.
And it helps her be able to focus on her responsibilities. Okay, I have to have this done this day. I have to do this, da-da-da. And it keeps up with that. So there's so many things at home. You just got to search it up. It's on Pinterest.
Wow. On Pinterest.
It's on Pinterest.
I
love Pinterest. As a teacher, I never used Pinterest until I became a teacher.
That's crazy.
Pinterest is my best
So
friend.
they let you like come up with your own little lessons and fun things.
Yeah.
So you could do whatever you want, sort of.
So Halloween, pumpkin carving. But it's like, okay, it's really cool. We get a pumpkin and I cut it out for them and they have to like literally with their hands scoop out the guts. So they're feeling textures.
Yeah.
While they're feeling textures, I'm like, hey, that's actually the seeds. And these are like, the little, I'm a bad teacher. I can't remember the names, but when I have the names in front of me, I teach them.
Yeah.
And then like, this is the inside, this is the skin, this is a stem, and they're touching it and they're having fun because it's like a game to them.
Right.
And then we bake the seeds together after they eat it.
You guys have
and they're
like kitchen stuff in there, like real
well,
kitchen stuff?
I bring in kitchen stuff. So like, because cooking is a lesson for them as well. Sometimes for Valentine's Day, it's a tea party.
Oh.
So they're learning how to pour.
Yeah.
Sometimes we let them make pancakes.
Mhm.
They're learning how to like flip a pancake and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then like food is lessons. Food is a lesson.
That's so freaking
Food can be a lesson at
cute.
home. There's so much you can do.
Yeah.
With a
everything
child.
can be a lesson. If
Everything.
you want to bake and then you learn math, or like,
I just
okay,
realized
this is
how
a
I'm
third of a
holding this.
cup. Why?
I'm like gripping on. Sorry.
Guys, you should see us holding these mics. Like, first of all, my hand is so sore and tired. Like, these mics are heavy, but we were talking about it
But
because,
they're
like,
cute. I like
they're
them.
cute. But I used to have the stands, and I was telling her, like, when you have the mic holder, you don't know what to do with your hands.
Honestly, I was super like nervous coming into. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be so nervous. But like, no, this feels like a conversation.
Right. Yeah.
It feels right.
I'm so happy that it does. No, and I'm telling you, like, I feel like when I don't know why holding the mic to me makes it feel so much better, but when I used to have it on the stand, I used to feel like so awkward because you have to figure out what to do with both your hands. And I don't know, now it's just like you just gotta think about one hand at a time. This one like kind of goes crazy. It just moves by itself. Yeah. And this one's just busy. And yeah, before, now I feel like it's like easier on the guests too, because like you don't know where to like, you're like hugging the pillow, or you're like holding your knees.
No,
like,
this is perfect.
I'm so glad you like it.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
Well, I feel like I covered all the crazy stuff in here. Like, I was so intrigued about Montessori school, and like I can't believe that you're a Montessori teacher. And I want you to teach my kids. Actually, I want you to teach me. I want to go into the school and I want to sit down and I want you to like give me a whole.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make our school.
Can we actually?
And our kids are gonna come to these schools,
and that'll be so slay. And then we'll move up the levels with them. Exactly. So we're like, now I'm like a second level teacher.
And we're the bosses, so we can, because it's our world. It's our school. Yeah,
there's a little favoritism. And
so what?
Sue us. What are you going to do?
It's our children. Like,
report us to the school board? LOL, I am the school board.
Exactly. Exactly.
Submit a complaint. Send it to my own email. So I can reply and say, I don't care.
I don't.
No, we actually need a service school. You, I, and Emily?
Yes. Yes. And you know what? Our first child is going to be Luca.
Exactly.
And he's gonna be a baby boy, our
Luca?
exemplary student.
Exactly.
And it's like, if anybody wants to know what the results are of Montessori, it's gonna be our baby Luca.
Yeah, he's so smart and bright, and he's literally the community baby.
And
I told Emily when she had him, I said, "This is like everybody. This is all of our babies."
You know, like how much love that kid has, though. Like, people don't realize this, but like, for me, the younger the better. Because you have all of these friends around you. Yeah. And all of the socialization around the baby, that helps the baby be social within it, like just within itself, like in that environment. You know? Yeah. Teaches them how to talk, because the more you talk around the baby, the more the baby's gonna like start trying to talk. You know what I mean? Yeah. Make these connections between words and stuff like that. I don't know.
Have you seen that mom on TikTok? She like talks to her baby. She just like recently started blowing up for that. She like talked to her baby like she's not a baby. Yeah. You know which girl I'm talking about?
Because I don't know, but baby talk is the worst.
I've heard.
Baby talk is the worst, because then you're just kind of stooping down to their level. And then again, Montessori. That's why we have the younger kids with the older kids, because the younger kids wants to be like the older kids. So then they start building these habits, talking clear, you know, asking for what they want, because communication is so important. For the younger kids, though, the 1 to 3 year olds, it's sign language.
Really?
So it's more hungry, thirsty. So because they're so smart, yeah, they don't know how to talk, but they know how to listen, and they know. It's like if you're born into a Spanish family, you don't know Spanish, but you understand Spanish. You're a baby, you don't know how to speak English or whatever language, but you know how to understand it. And so, you know, sign language is it just kind of helps bridge that gap.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So a child will be able to tell you when they're hungry or thirsty, or when they're, you know, all done. Yeah. Yeah.
How cute. Have you taught all 3 different levels?
No. So I prefer primary.
Okay.
I just feel like that's the perfect age.
Primary, that's the 3 to 6.
3 to 6.
Okay. Because the other ones, are they too crazy? Like the 1 to 3? Is that too much?
Personally.
How do they have 1 and 3 year olds together? Because that's completely different.
So they have it a little bit separate, but not too much. Where it's like when they go outside, they're still together and stuff like that. Okay. But you do have like specific teachers on diaper duties, or like, you know, certain teachers that are doing the letter sounds, because they're that small and doing letter sounds. Whoa. Yeah. And then it's just kind of like, as a teacher with the assistants that you have in your classroom, dividing up the work.
Okay. I see.
You see?
Yeah.
And then at that point, it's just kind of like the same as if it were to be 3 to 6 year olds.
So
It's
in the level 1,
Mhm.
there's more teachers than like in your level
Yeah.
per class.
Just because you got to think about it, smaller children are more responsibility.
That's what I'm saying. Like, in like a 1 and a 3-year-old are completely different ages. Like,
Mhm.
it's not like 3 and 6. Like, yeah, they're little kids, but they're
So their bathroom. Oh, I forgot to talk about the bathroom.
What? What about the bathroom?
It's the cutest stinking thing I've ever seen.
What's
I
in the
kid you
bathroom?
not, porcelain toilets that are small just as them.
No.
Because one thing about Montessori is that everything has to be at eye level with a kid, with that age group.
Yeah.
So you'll see like little brooms, little
Oh my
mops and everything like
God.
them built for them to
Do
be
you
able
have
to
pictures of
use.
this stuff?
I wish I did.
Oh
I can
my
bring them to you on Monday.
It's just like,
I know.
guys, I'm editing this for
I
it to
know,
go up
I'm
tomorrow.
So sorry, I'm the worst.
No, you're good. I should have thought to ask you for pictures, but
yeah.
oh my God.
And so
send
it's
them to me
like-
anyways, because I want to see.
I will. But then it's like the bathrooms are set up where it's like the changing side,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like the toilet side. So it's like it'll be one teacher
Mhm.
changing, and then the other one's kind of making sure that they're taking their turns and using the bathroom.
How cute.
Yeah. But then it's like, think about it. While they're changing, those kids are seeing them go to the bathroom by themselves, and they're like,
Right.
I want to be a big boy. I want to be a big girl too. I want to use the big girl toilet.
Oh my God. This is a genius concept.
It
Is that lady
is.
still alive?
No,
Oh,
unfortunately.
R.I.P. to a legend.
Yeah. But we celebrate her every year.
Hey.
Every year. We got to keep her alive, Like, what she did was great,
Yeah, for sure.
you
I see it all the time now. I never knew about any of that stuff until TikTok. Shout out to TikTok.
I mean, going into that school blind, walking in, I was baffled.
Yeah.
Because you really don't expect much from certain ages, but that's where people are so wrong.
Yeah.
Like, they're more than capable. It's just, I know it's scary as a parent, like, oh no, but I don't want them to get hurt.
Yeah.
But it's okay to get hurt within the process. Obviously not to hurt, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm,
But it's okay to like learn from your mistakes,
yeah.
And that's what they're doing essentially throughout these lessons,
Yeah.
It's really cute.
I want to go. You said I could go and do a
You
little
can come
visit,
whenever you want.
and I'm coming.
You're coming.
I might come literally Monday.
There you go.
Like, I actually want to go. And you're actually making me want to do this job. Like, I'm kind of like,
It's so fun. It's so much fun. I'm not gonna lie to you. There is not a day that goes by that my day is like not like there's something always,
yeah.
and it keeps me on my toes.
Yeah.
And you develop, because if you think about it, you have these kids for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
You develop such a strong bond with them
Yeah.
that they become like almost like your children,
And then they leave you.
And then they leave you, and then they forget about you. Ugh.
Little freaking. How dare they?
I had a kid. He had to like leave from like our school because I guess they were moved or something like that.
Mhm.
And then they came for the art festival because they were just like invited. And he used to love me. Like we were besties.
Right.
He came back. I was like, oh my gosh, you're so tall. Do you remember me? No.
Oh.
I was like, that was like 2 years ago. What do you mean? I don't know who you are. I was like, oh, okay.
You got played.
I was.
Well, I think that wraps up today's episode. We literally talked about everything and anything to do with the
Everything.
school. I'm so glad that like you came over. Like, honestly, thank you so
for
much.
having me.
I had so many questions. And I feel like
loved
after
talking
this,
about it.
I'm going to have even more. So,
And I'm here.
hey.
And I'm here.
And I'll
for
be
it.
at school on Monday. So,
You will be at my classroom on Monday.
I literally will. And I'm going
She
to
won't be anywhere else.
You guys will see. I'm going to be in school learning. Well, thank you. Like, honestly, thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
on. I love you so much.
I love you more.
I hope that you girls enjoy this episode. And I'll see you girls next Wednesday. Bye.